your question. Nick, just tell us about how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, pretty, obviously the best tournament in the world. I've worked extremely hard to just even be able to prepare and try and play this tournament. So super excited to be here again and see how it goes.
Good morning, Nick. Rockwell from The Sun. We haven't seen you a lot this year. How is your body and how fit is it for five-set tennis this week?
Yeah, I still think there's some question marks for sure. I mean, obviously five-set tennis is a completely different beast altogether. And, I look at my preparations last year coming in and I probably had the most ideal preparation possible and it couldn't be any different this year. But again, I'm not going to discredit the work I put in for the last 6 months, just trying to maintain my fitness and get back on court. And, I've been hitting with some really good plays this week and my body's feeling okay. So, I'm just going to take it one day at a time. I'm not going to look forward and put unfair expectations on myself. And I'm just going to try and do everything I can, prepare and go out there and play some good tennis.
Hey Nick, Matt Futterman from the Times. Has the surgery and rehab process, has it gone differently than what was expected and what your team and doctors told you they thought was going to happen? And what has surprised you during the process?
I don't know. I guess, I kind of had an outline of what needed to happen. And, I've been really disciplined throughout that time. I barely missed any sort of, part of the process. I've been working really hard. I've been trying to do everything possible, but I don't think anything went abnormal to what was supposed to happen. I think just people forget how strenuous this sport is, how physical it is. I feel like to the outside world, people don't understand just because it's non-contact. It's not that physical, but I dare someone to go out there and play 4 hours with Novak and see how you feel afterwards. Look, I feel as good as I probably could feel at the moment.
Hi Nick, Eleanor Crooks Press Association. Having had such a great year last year, how frustrating is it to have had this hiatus, especially coming in here with so little prep?
Look, I looked at the positives. I got to spend some extended time at home, which I'd never gotten before over the last 8 years of my life. I've barely been home. So in a way, it was good to be home. Obviously heartbreaking as well because, you're competing for Grand Slams last year. I felt like everything kind of came together for me last year. Finals of Wimbledon, barely lost a match. Had the third best season on tour. And then, obviously my body was just crying out for some sort of rest and I needed to do what I had to do. And yeah, it's been brutal. It's been hard.
Nick, last year, during your run, as deep as you went here, you expressed emotions about the joy of playing and achieving what you did. What has carried over from that during the trials and tribulations of the injuries and having to cope with that in the last year?
I guess, I haven't forgotten about last year. The thing about tennis is the tour is so vigorous and the tournaments week in, week out, you kind of don't have time to reflect on anything that you've done. But I've had so much time to kind of sit back and be forced to kind of look at everything I did last year and I wanted to do more. I think the Australian Open, pulling out of Australian Open was one of the hardest things I had to do because I genuinely feel like with the tennis I was playing and with my Grand Slam experience and just the way I was feeling, I felt like I could win that tournament. And obviously from then I had to get surgery and it's been brutal because everyone's just expecting me to be the same player that I was straight away. And that's been really hard. Obviously, I played a couple of weeks ago in Stuttgart and, I lost and the criticism was enormous. And I was like, my first match back from that it was hard to kind of just be the same player that I was straight away. But yeah, it's been hard. Like I'm trying to expect the same sort of tennis that I was playing last year and I don't think that's fair at the moment.
Specifically, Nick, when we were able to actually get back onto a tennis court and in the last sort of 10 days, how much have you been able to, how many hours a day have you been able to do or whatever?
I guess it took me, I wasn't allowed to pivot for a couple months after the surgery. So I was not on a tennis court for ages. But the last 10 days, I didn't play Halle and I went to Mallorca and I was trying to play Mallorca. I would have loved to get another match under my belt before Wimbledon, but my body just wasn't ready, and I've been putting in, I've been waking up, doing, all the gym work required, rehab, treatment, been hitting, I hit with Jordan Thompson yesterday, played a set, felt okay, played another set with Cressy the day before. So I've been, trying to emulate a little bit of the match kind of load that I'm going to be having. Obviously, you can't do that with the Grand Slam because I could be out. Like last year, first round, I played Paul Jubb and it went for 4 hours. So I don't know. I've been doing as much as you possibly can a couple of days before Wimbledon. You don't want to overpush it either.
Yes, Neil from the Mirror. Nick, it's the first time we've seen you since the release of the latest Netflix episodes, where you spoke very openly about your mental health struggles in the past. So if you feel comfortable, just how you're feeling now, what kind of reaction have you had from people since that, and why is it important for you to be so open about this and to let everyone know how you're feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it took me 7-8 years to be able to just open up about that. I kept it very close to the chest for a long time. But I think it's important. I think, a lot of athletes kind of go through that, but, just general people that are, go through their mental struggles feel like, I feel like it's a bit better now, but especially males felt like it was hard to kind of open up and just admit they were struggling. But yeah, I feel very different to how I was feeling, obviously, throughout that period in 2019. But yeah, look, I guess I feel great now. Obviously, a bit, it's hard because I'm putting so much expectation on myself, but compared to that time, I'm feeling a lot better.
Howard Fendrich with the AP. Is there a particular moment or memory that sticks out the most for you from last year's 2 weeks here? And is there a way in which you can still carry some sort of momentum or thoughts of, gee, look at what I was able to do here with you despite having had this long layoff because of injury?
Yeah, look, I'm extremely confident. I've never been a player that needs a lot of matches before playing a Grand Slam. I've always been kind of on the side of not playing too much, but what I've achieved in my career never leaves. Like, it never leaves you. And last year, it wasn't that long ago, really. And I feel like I'm still serving as good as ever. I'm still able to beat a lot of people on the court, but I just got to take it day by day. I don't think I'm going to, I got David Goffin first round, someone who made quarterfinals last year. Like, he's had an amazing career. He knows how to win tennis matches, and I'm just going to focus on that. That's all I'm focusing on at the moment. Not so much what I did last year or what people want me to achieve this year. I just going to take it day by day, and I think that's the only appropriate way to take it at the moment.
Hi, Nick, Moritz Langsky, Germany. Last year you talked about how brutal social media was for you.